and it's very difficult to deny the Nami away. We have seen Guma Keria play the Draven Nami, but unfortunately with this Vi pick, won't be able to take both, and I don't think they wanted to play that anyways. The Draven's still a risky pick actually into this. Usually teams will just kind of shake hands and say, we are going to play the Zeri. All right, well,
they know what they're going for. Let's see what Bro go for now that Yumi's not a champion, and Lucian Yumi kind of taken away. Umpty's nodding his head.
We have seen a lot of teams trying to break up Lucian Nami just falling flat, though. We have really seen this. It's going to be Sona. Okay.
Wait, who's this champion? Never seen her before.
Well, it's very popular for a Nami replacement. Allows you to push through very hard. You have a lot of sustain. And there's a lot of poke damage as well from Sona, actually, in the lane.
Maybe they'll play like Sivir or something. Or just Zeri Nami? Okay.
Can't say this was on my bingo card for today. Did
We're
not
gonna
put
need
that
the
one on
bingo
the list.
card.
Yeah. All right. Well, there is not a lot of synergy with this duo. Now, obviously, there's a ton of burst damage if you end up getting hit by the bubble. You know, the push is real. You can force your way through there, but you don't want to be trading very aggressively with Lucian Sona in this lane. T1 with a lot of confidence with how they've been playing their bottom lane, but some of the very few losses we've seen from T1 this season have been around unlikely duos, let's say, in the bottom lane. The Twitch Ezreal, that comes to mind, the most recent. We saw the Jinx pulled out by Guma. Didn't go very well either in the Hanwha Life series, so this does make you skeptical, as we will see a ban on the Gnar here. So Renekton and Gnar taken off the table.
Very interesting. I thought Zaze could just hop back on it, but maybe with the Renekton ban and a lot of other kind of split push heavy top laners still available,
Yeah,
they don't want to go for it this time.
I think that now it's going to be, okay, you better ban K'Sante, and if you ban K'Sante, we'll take Fiora or the Jax if they'd like to. There's the K'Sante ban. And even blind, I think you feel pretty good with Fiora, but they don't have to blind it because the Sylas is banned. They can take the Azir first. So you want in a really good spot in this draft for getting a Zeri online later. With the exception of that Nami, we'll see how it goes. So the Akali is open here, and it's going to be the response for Karus.
That's probably been a little bit for Karus. Feels like that gets respect ban against him a lot.
Yeah, he's only played it once this season.
Yeah. Efforts. We'll pick the Jax for the team.
It's going to be Jax Fiora on the top side.
You would think so. Let's see what they want to go for.
Let him cook! Valdez,
Wait.
let him cook!
Oh my god. Xayah top? Riven?
Don't do it. Don't do the Gragas. Don't cook that one. It's very strong here, very safe. And he will do it.
Imagine if he just pulled out the Riven and just... Not meant to be this game.
Nami. Lucian, Zeri, Nami, Sona.
Yeah, they were listening to my thing, and I guess they got the names mixed up.
All right, well, there is a lot of power in this Lucian Sona lane, and the Sona ultimate is not as long range or as deadly as the Nami ultimate can be, but it's still very strong. And when you hit level 6, you can have that power there. In the early game, too, you can use that in the first 2 Drakes, first Herald, for example, depending on when those are taken. You have a Wukong, lots of skirmishing power here. Whereas on the side of T1, you have Azir, mid-game fighting, you have Zeri scaling. With the Nami, you can peel very well and also set up big ganks. So, I mean, it's not... The Nami's not all bad, right? It's a very strong support in terms of what she can do on the map. It's just in the laning phase where this could cause problems.
That is kind of crazy.
Scrolling through too fast.
Yeah. Keria fan and Guma fan. Also, a couple
Appealing
more
for POG votes. Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to wait until the gameplay comes up first, okay? I did vote for Keria, top left girl. I did vote for Keria the last game. Didn't go through.
She said she has to take the last train back to Busan.
Well, that's a long journey.
Yeah. So she says, you know, get the win, please. Because I got to go home. Hoping for the 2-0, perhaps.
Well, if she's taking the last train, she probably got her ticket already. Whether it finishes early or not, she's going home late. But she's still probably hoping for a 2-0 for T1 standings here. Unique draft with the Nami denial. We'll see how it plays out.
Very strange. Let's see how this one cooks up a game number 2 for us as we hop onto the rims. Here we are. And yes, that is Sona. And yes, that is Zeri Nami. You have come to the right place. This is the LCK.
There has been a lot of discussion about, you know, in the past, especially when sometimes you'd see, because Lucian and Nami were always picked together, sometimes you'd see a Nami ban, for example. Like, are there other champions that can push as hard with Lucian? And Nami has been slightly nerfed, so has Lucian, but the discussion about Sona has always been there because you can get the movement speed, so you can push forward very quickly. You can get the heal, so you can sustain into trades. You also have that level 6 I was talking about. You can ult, you could push and do some damage. Like, it is a very much let's push, let's do damage, let's trade, let's be aggressive pick. Seraphine offering something similar in the lane, but a little bit more based on whether you can hit those shots, whereas Sona just kind of works by default. So I'm not sold on this pick necessarily here for effort, especially if you're going to trade aggressively here and take a lot of damage. But you can sustain through it. Pop a pot.
Okay, double summoners here for both sides. Actually, Henna didn't use his Ignite, but everybody else did use their secondary summoner.
This ends up being kind of deceptively pretty good for Henna and effort here, because of that healing I was talking about.
Yeah.
And Scorch on the Sona, unsurprisingly, Airy. Just talking about it for like a second, it's been a while. Oh, I remember this.
Yeah. Well, Yumi doesn't exist anymore, unfortunately, so good times, I suppose. Or bad times, I guess, depending on who you're asking. Peter not having a fun time in that game. But naturally, the Zeri is going to get the level 2 first. Effort just standing up to that. Now they're going to get level 2. Ignite comes down on Naguma. Remember, he saved that. Henna did the flash forward, and one more auto will do it. And Guma Yusi is going to go down, and Keria might be next, since he will have to flash away to survive.
Valdez, they picked away the Nami again. They're cooking, and I don't know about this one.
They keep doing it.
Keep doing it, and by the way, 10-0 Gragas, Roseas. It was every time he picked it when he was playing this last year, it was like, oh no, another Gragas game. But he never lost. Like, you were just like, I want to see him play the flashy ones. It's really fun.
Yeah.
Very good Gragas player. But back to the level 2 fight down there. Remember, Sona, she does a lot of damage in the early levels.
Henna saved his Ignite.
Henna saved his Ignite, as you mentioned. And there's only so much you can do here as Nami. The cooldown on the W is pretty long. This was just a complete misjudge of the damage output of these champions here at level 2, especially considering the Ignite. And I don't know what else to say besides that. Like, it's a bit of a surprise pick, certainly, but nice advantage here for Henna and effort to have this wave now under their turret.
Yeah. CSing basically perfectly until that last one.
Caster Curse.
Got a little Caster Curse in there. Very difficult wave to last it, though. But yeah, gotta be careful. I mean, I guess they assumed, like, I kind of assumed as well. I thought, you know, Zeri Nami should still be able to get the push advantage just with the pushing of the Zeri. And they kind of did. They hit level 2, and maybe they assumed, okay, we should be able to win this trade, but then Henna and effort at level 2 as well. So it wasn't like they were that far behind the pushing war. As Smite not here for Owner, he's going to have that stolen away. No double scuttle for the Vi player as the flash in front, and Owner will have to flash as well.
Okay, definitely a scary moment there. Owner will be forced to flash. I thought for a second he was just going to flash one auto too late, but he does get out of there. It is Aftershock on this Vi, by the way. Not too uncommon, but just wanted to point that one out. And Conqueror proc there for Umpty does end up stealing the, does end up losing the control of the scuttle. I believe it was Umpty who got it, right? And
yeah.
lost it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Making sure I get
it away.
my facts straight, as I got a little bit caught up in the flash there. But yeah, okay. Nice body.
Play on the top side. Here is Umpty looking for Zeus, who does have a very nice angle, though, and he's quite tanky on the Gragas, and now the Vi is here, but they don't want to fight it anymore, as Zeus now just going to flash away, and Owner's like, well, at least I'm here to support.
I'm going to try to set up potentially for a surprise brush. I wonder if he saw that. He probably did, right?
I don't think so. It was just the pet from the jungle that oftentimes shows on the spectator client, but yeah, just
backs anyways.
Yeah,
be fine. Could have been a cool surprise, gank there, but on the bottom side of the map, it's been a little while since we've taken a check in here, and Sai kind of has a slight advantage, but nothing massive. But obviously we know that Lucian is going to have a big edge in early fights when the Gale Force is done. Going for an early Sheen, actually, as well, for some aggressive trading. Might not even be a Gale Force first this game. And, I mean, trying to get that Spellblade to proc and do some extra damage here in this lane, but it's hard to all-in now and get those kills before level 6.
Yeah. It's going to be very interesting to see how the Sona is going to work in this professional match. I mean, just because it has been so long, it's been over a year. And the Sona, as we know, it scales incredibly well. Just needs a lot of time. It's why we were seeing Sona a lot in the AD carry role, if you can call it that. Maybe just in the carry role alongside of stuff like Seraphine and other enjoyable champions. Because eventually your team becomes really unkillable. If the game goes long enough, you just provide so much in terms of buffs and in terms of healing as well.
It is crazy what you can do in the late game, especially on setting up for objectives. And T1 have this hard engage, right? They have the Nami, they have, more importantly, the Gragas, right, the Vi, and Faker can even set up for a scoop. But anyone who comes in for that type of engage can just get Sona ulted. And then there's follow-up damage, right? They have the Wukong, so trying to go in on this Sona becomes very complicated because there's so much peel. And then high damage on this Lucian. And the single kill actually did go over to the Sona, as was pointed out earlier. So it's not a massive lead for the Lucian or anything like that. It's not first blood, it's just an assist. So these are small things that T1 have that make the situation a little bit more manageable. And there hasn't been any follow-up, it hasn't been able to do anything 3-6 like we mentioned, and the Lucian Sona kill pressure is just kind of a little bit slow at this point in time because Keria can help sustain on this Nami pick. So we're watching a Jax versus a Gragas.
For quite a while now.
Yeah,
I'm kind of mesmerized by the small micro movements of Jonas Strong, our observer, as he tries to keep it centered on this. More so than actually watching the matchup, just because, I mean, it's Gragas, right? So, I mean, now Umpty is up here.
Yeah, level 6 is hit, but Zeus
expecting it.
Yeah,
very safely.
He knows that Owner has hit 6, and so likely Umpty will have it as well, and they don't have vision of the Wukong, so... Because...
Like they have a really good read that Wukong is on the top side of the map right now.
Yeah, they're going to set up for this dive here.
Uh-oh. Henna just dashing forward, so this is going to be their opportunity. As Owner dashing further, calling is huge on Ikaria, but now Henna goes way too deep, not noticing the Vi behind him, and they will hand that kill over to Gumayusi.
Either he didn't notice, or by the time that the vision was there, he was like, well, I'm dead no matter what, I'm going to see if I can get this kill first, but he's unsuccessful.
This is, going to be the Wukong flashing on top of the Nami. There is the Sona ult as well, straight Naguma, who did have flash, but was not able to react on time, or decided to save it. And that's going to be the end of that. Really nice turnaround.
Owner getting off that Drake real fast after that. As, they're like, Umpty should be topside. They had a really good read on it. I think that was a really good call out from you, is that clearly, based on the positioning there of Owner and where they were in the lane, they were like, okay, well, he's probably topside. Zeus showing a lot of respect, and then they collapse in, force that kill, and right afterwards, he does show up. Umpty's like, I am here. So they're going to go all the way back to this Vi. And at this point, Henna has level 6, Effort does not. So there's no way Effort can heal. And I think Henna just realizes, like, I got to try to go for this. He's unsuccessful, doesn't do enough damage. Effort gets away. Then hits 6 here during this fight. As Umpty comes in with Flash, there's the 6 with the first kill. Boom, just at basically max range. 2 kills for the Wukong. And Owner is out of there. Not holding on to that drink.
So now Umpty's in a really, really nice spot. He is going to be hitting that first item very quickly. Henna, no flash. You can see that there's a little bit of a setup now with Owner in the bottom side. Let's see if they can set this up. If he face checks, no, he's just going to put in a ward and not just run straight into the Vi. Good for his sake.
Still could be hiding. They don't know. Maybe playing this one very carefully. Speaking of, trying to clear a ward.
He's still here, but so is Umpty. So there is a chance we get a little 3-on-3 action depending on how long Owner wants to stay here.
Umpty has no flash, so hard to close the gap here. And Keria sitting on that tidal wave, so I don't think Rion really should try to force this.
Our observers are still keeping this a secret, and now
he's in base. You could see him on the map. Yeah, their top side. Now, as you say, now it's revealed. Don't watch this. I don't. I mean,
wait, you don't want to see Morgan CSing under turret?
I love me some Zeus 10-0 Gragas, but how about Faker? Yeah. How about some Akali versus Azir in the mid lane? How about some Akali versus Azir in the mid lane?
Nope, back to top lane. We have to watch this. We must learn.
I think what the observers are showcasing is that Zeus has handled this matchup so well, so early. He's actually pushing waves in. He has a lot of control here. Isn't using his cask, still has his flash up, and a matchup that if you mishandle, obviously the Jax can very well get the better of you, but it's just so safe, it's so hard, because you can just body boop every time he tries to counter-strike. Now this time he does get it, though.
Yeah, a little bit of an issue for Zeus. He's just going to walk it out, though. Doesn't ult, doesn't flash, nothing like that.
Really good for Morgan to not commit the flash, because the flash and the ult are there, and Zeus could have actually just turned that into a kill easily if he decided to flash there. He'll end up under turret real quick with that cask available. Been a very quiet game after those exchanges on the bottom side. So maybe Owner will do something about that.
He is hanging around. He's getting a lot of vision in the enemy jungle as we speak. Umpty might run straight into him.
Umpty
take this camp.
An item up, a level up. Don't think that Owner's going to be sticking around very long. They said they nerfed the leash range. I don't know about that. Brings the Raptors all the way back to his base.
Trying to make him into a new jungle pet.
Jungle pets?
Yeah, a new jungle pets.
Caitlyn told Violet, you can only have one pet. Don't bring those Raptors home. Don't give them names.
Yeah, the second you name them, it's over. It's the end. They are part of the family now. Sona has the greatest gold lead in the game over Keria. Sona
First blood.
Yeah. Very strong. The Infernal Drake did go the way of Bro because of that bottom side fight as well. Maybe a Hextech this time, or maybe just another Chemtech. So what do you think, Wolf?
Another Chemtech.
Surely.
At this stage, you know, with the speed of which this game is unfolding before our eyes, it's the only thing that makes sense. It's the only thing that's on theme, you know.
True.
I could see an ocean. You know, I could see an ocean, but no, Hextech.
Yeah,
absolutely
I think
not
it's
out of the
definitely not Hextech.
No, absolutely not.
Like, there are only 4 possibilities, right? I think absolutely it's not Hextech. Anything else, I could probably.
Umpty.
Oh, here's
Where
Umpty.
Are you
from? Where did he come from? Where did he go? Well, he's actually going into the death chamber as the bubble is huge. Keria just going to put an end to that as Guma says he wants another piece. And he's going to be regretting that. Faker is coming down here, but uncertain about whether or not to go. He will decide against it.
I think that's why Guma went in, because Faker's calling, I'm coming down, I've got ult, I've got flash. Zeus, can he boop him?
Well, he did in one way.
Cask boop.
Little cask boop.
Please don't watch it anymore. Ult advantage to Morgan.
Yeah.
Hype. Jack's ult advantage. Okay, so Umpty, look at where he is. He actually wrapped all the way around while Faker was backing with Karis here. And he is seen, but stun comes through. And he actually just gets tidal waved and bubbled. Just very clean from Keria, very easy. This is why dives are so difficult. And then Guma just wants to chase with Faker and...
We're back to the top lane. It looks like there was a trade of summoners.
Flashes, yeah, and
So-
Jax ulted.
Yeah, so I guess that's why. John Strong was showing us that. T1.
Stop showing me that, Jonah.
Oh, it's Hextech Soul.
All right,
I
so
guess I cursed it into existence.
Yeah, it's-
very, very good job, Valdez.
if you cast your
Thanks.
curse hard enough, your dreams can become real. And these will be heavily prioritized now, thankfully.
Yeah.
So,
Wow. So we're going to be fighting over these. These are
Very-
going to matter.
yes, and very good for both teams. Extremely good.
Extremely good.
But pretty much that's the rule. There are very few comps where it's not good, but I think both of these are on the higher tiers of how good it is for comps. And it's going to be spawning here in 4 minutes' time. We've traded Drakes. T1 picking up the Cloud. So no action just yet. But strap in.
Just you wait.
Strap in, LCK fans. As Brion actually on the top side of the map grouped up here, will start off this Herald. And with the Sona set up here with ult in the choke, very difficult to actually collapse in. Faker down a level, probably about half a level at this point, but not going to be rotating over. There's no objective on the bottom side of the map except a lonely Henna. And it looks like they want to set up for this dive. Really quick reaction here, but the Hextech portal for Keria means he can come over and try to set up the tidal wave. And Henna actually reacting very quickly.
Yeah. This is very on vision. They cleared that control ward. And so they're just going to try to push into this turret. There's not much of a wave now, though, but 4 members of T1 in position. Maybe they're setting up for the Hextech Drake in 3.5 minutes.
Surprising that Morgan decides to back here and not actually push hard top while they're all down here, because there's no defending this turret with or without him. And he's just going to Hextech back to lane.
I guess maybe he picked up his Sunder?
I think he had it.
Yeah, I didn't quite see the finish on that.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think he... I don't want to assume, but I thought he had it. Anyways.
You're on vision. Owner in a little bit of trouble. He's going to get stunned up as well as double cycloned, and Umpty will flash in and secure that kill. Immediately, that's going to be pinged. He's like, well, there's a ward there.
Yep. And that's going to be the turret going down here. So even though Jax didn't get a bunch of damage done on that top turret, which whether he had his Sunder or not, with that much of a commitment, definitely could have gotten some damage done. Get this one bottom side.
Oh boy, Faker's just doing insane damage. The tidal wave into double bubble as... Oh man, I guess they just didn't have any flashes, or they just selected not to. They all get hit by everything. Yeah, the two of them just not able to flash out of that one.
You may not like it, but this is what peak League of Legends looks like.
Zeri Nami. It's okay if Keria does it, right?
Yes. And that's not the first time, and it's probably not the last time in this game where we will see the tidal wave into bubble setup. This time it was fat, not just hitting the...
With a PH?
Yes.
Nice. Bringing back that old slang. That slang is older than most viewers in the chat right now.
I know. It's wild, but it's appropriate in this case.
Yeah.
It's too old for Keria, frankly, but if he watches this VOD, maybe he'll learn the vocab. So right now he's definitely making some big plays here defensively on the bottom side of the map. Because dropping the Herald here, catching the buy, that's great. You know, owner's backing on a ward, pings the ward as you say, he's dead, commits a flash.
Thumbs up.
And then we're pushing for a charge. We are pushing for a charge. So much damage from Faker. And then double bubble after the tidal wave. Faker gets the scoop, which is wholly unnecessary, but it was definitely cool.
야, 나 너무 잘했고.
Oh, I did so well. I'm so good.
너무 잘했다 방금.
I didn't hear what they said at the end there.
He's just so, let's say, self-confident.
I mean, honestly, like, that was a huge overextension, and he played it perfectly.
Yeah. He did cast the tidal wave at them. That was very good.
Faker has done such a good job this game of being aggressive and trying to punish those bottom side plays. Like, we did see him rotate over onto the Dragon that one time when he had some extra prio. He's just not going to sit on his lead and take it forever.
A lot of these plays at the highest level is just like, okay, well, Brion were trying to push that advantage, and then they didn't expect Faker was quite there, and they were already over-indexed, and so they just kind of got caught out by Faker and
Getting
Keria.
Yeah, and getting a second charge, Valdez, on that turret seems insignificant for that moment because there's no plates or anything, right? You're not getting any money, but could be significant if you're fighting over Baron. T1's trying to start that up, and Jax is on the opposite side, threatening that inner and then potentially the inhibitor turret.
You're really trying to push those very slight advantages, and then T1 are playing against the play and kind of catch them off guard. So the positioning is really what is so key for Keria and Faker. So even while I jest and I say, wow, he pressed his R button, it was more so that he was there in position and got aggressive against what Brion were expecting.
Yeah, and Keria was there with Tidal Wave. We talked about how Nami doesn't necessarily synergize very well with Zeri, except to sustain her in the lane, but you could see how many times the dive denial has been so huge. Similar to how Nautilus was super popular for a really long time with Zeri, because you deny the pick, but you also have the ability to deny dives with those roots. As we have had this frame drop issue a few times, we've had a few flickering screens and stuff like that in the game. It looks like Henna is reporting that right now, so we're just investigating it at the moment.
Yep. It says that he will restart the client. Doesn't say that in English, actually, but that is what it says at the end.
Yeah, that's what it says in Korean. Because of the frame drop issue he's reported, they are restarting the client or reconnecting to the client.
I guess it's kind of like assumed. Like, what else are they going to do? So
yeah,
not calling out the lack of translation, but thought you guys should know.
Yep, just always adding the additional context. So we'll be reconnecting, and it's a pretty tense moment here. But I think T1 with this play and denial of that second charge, or the punishment of that second charge, ends up putting Faker into a really nice spot. He's got a lot of money. He's going for a damage build this time around. Zeri is starting to come well and truly online, and the Jax hasn't been a very strong split push win condition just yet. He had the opportunity topside to push turret, but backed instead, and then, you know, now we're in a world where this Gragas is going to be some of the best initiation you can get. Okay, this is levels deep. The Baron head is tasty, like...
Yeah, I think we're missing a reference, but that is the...
well, it's a lot of different Hanja here that I don't know. Although I think the translation there is that the second Hanja is head, and then both of them is repeating for being tasty. I don't know.
Perhaps.
I'm rusty on my Hanja. Oh, so there's a... Okay, so Jisun gave us the translation, or the context. There's a kind of a saying that the fish's head is the most delicious part, and that's why I'm saying the Baron's head is the most delicious, because T1
definitely disagree.
Getting there. No, I'm into it.
You're into the fish head?
Yeah, why not?
I would eat it, but I wouldn't say it's the most delicious part. And you would only eat it in very special circumstances.
Oh, there's a Korean saying.
Okay, yes, there is a Korean saying, yes. There is.
There's also a saying amongst LCK fans, the Baron's head is the most delicious.
True, yeah. That is an official LCK saying as of today. So
I assume
something new.
Based on T1's Baron tendencies, that was a T1 fan. But by the way, we're back in.
A T1 fans. There were 4 signs.
Yes, that's true. But someone came up with the idea.
True.
I don't think they all just like telepathically were like, you know what?
Any Chempunk chainsword enjoyers? Just wondering.
I know a few haters. One of them over there on the space. One of them on Equalize.
Is this an okay spot where you're like up against a Sona? Maybe not. I'm not. Yeah, you know. Maybe I need to brush up on my 13.1B.
Look, it's early in the meta, and Sona is a rare pick, and obviously heal deny is going to be pretty significant against her, but it's not Moonstone Senna. It is the Shurelius for the extra vision.
Sona.
What did I say?
Senna.
Sorry.
I mean, that was pretty close, though.
Sorry. Sona with Shurelius.
At least you didn't say Aatrox.
With movement speed. Yeah, I didn't say Aatrox this time.
Yeah. Urgot. There are a lot of worse champions you could have gone for.
So the movement speed is very good here for these champions, but I always generally like to give pros the benefit of the doubt. I know not everybody does, but I think it will be useful. Is it the most efficient item? I don't think so, but hey, you know, owner's going to do what he wants to do, and he will deny some healing, and they are very ahead.
He's a big fan of denying healing, I guess. He will do that. Okay, we're going to get on top of Henna here as he will be swept up and down he goes. So that's going to be the end of him. Effort also just going to die. By the way, guys, this is 20 minutes into the game, and they're diving nearly the inhibitor turret. And they're not even that far ahead.
Nope.
Did it.
I mean, their comp allows for this type of play. Faker ulting for this, and now they have control over the Baron pit. No AD carry here. And the Baron's head's the most delicious part.
Yeah, there is a saying amongst LCK fans that the Baron's head is the most delicious part of the Baron.
Here we go. Oh, max
Oh boy.
range.
Well, in goes Umpty, in goes Morgan as well, because they have to, as this is a 3v5. Baker's pretty low, and he will get traded back. Car's going to miss the Shuriken, unfortunately, but
Wait, hold on.
hold the phone.
Karis.
They stopped the Baron with that.
Yeah. And no one can push towards this really strong Akali right now. And with Zona back up, efforts here, no ult or flash or anything, but just don't want to be messing around with that. And they will stop the Baron. Faker shut down, and T1, I wouldn't call this greeting, but it was definitely a bit of a messy team fight, as this is Henna's death here. Moments before Effort ults, but is caught by the end of the Nami ultimate here and is taken out, so lots of burst damage here. In this fight, Morgan does a ton with this Counter-Strike and, of course, the Wukong coming in. So Wukong comes over, then the Counter-Strike is there, so lots of CC on top of Faker. And if there was a Lucian here, this would have been a wipe. But they decided to go for this Baron because the Lucian and Sona were dead. It was still really nicely played from Umpty, and then the Counter-Strike follow-up there from Morgan. So lots of CC means, ultimately, the team want to push off the Baron. Still only a 1,500 gold lead. But it feels like it's higher when you consider where this area is at right now.
And Owner just has no chill in this game. I mean, he's going to knock up Henna here, and we do have the tidal wave, but he's alone. I mean, he is so deep in here to make this happen. And it looked okay, but the rest of T1 just could not extend that far.
By ult with a lot of different CC in the game, you go, yeah, thumbs up, synergy's there. You know, Ari's banned a lot when this happens. But, you know, the tidal wave, not the most quick one of the synergies that you could have. Very far away, very slow to get the follow-up damage.
I think they wanted to pick Seraphine. This is a lot of poke, though, as a massive cask is just going to separate everybody. As here we go, the Sorelia's there in it. And looking for the kills, although Umpty is pretty far alone on the right side. He will back up and look for Keria now as Faker just on the run. But look at Karis, he is chasing them down.
They learned about this. They turned. They learned and they turned. And now Zeus here.
Any turn learners?
Any learned turners?
They learned to turn.
They learned to turn. It's improvement in real time.
Wow.
And this ends up being pretty good for Brionne, all things considered. Trades like this, you are feeling very good about getting back into this game. As, going all the way onto this Lucian, the follow-up tidal wave is there, but where is the damage? Guma, Keria, super far away. And just dying here, and then getting this Baron down to 8,300, deciding, okay, now we need to back away. The cask, not great here, actually, just kind of pushing them away, and then the follow-up is there. So much damage from Karis. Numpty is so sticky here onto Faker, and this team is cut in half. The DPS is on one side, the support and front line on the other. So 1-for-1 here, but when you're trading and you're the team who's behind, you feel really good. Now, Zeri's still a big problem. We haven't seen T1 actually take a quote-unquote front-to-back team fight on equal footing.
It's been a lot of skirmishes.
And Faker did not go for the Leandri's build. He went for Burst, so there's a bit of a disconnect between what he's trying to do in this draft to set up for the Zeri and some of these skirmishes T1 are opting into, right? Like, Owner's playing this like it's a pick comp, Faker's playing it like it's a burst pick comp, and Guma's like, well, I'm Zeri still, and
Zeus is playing this like it's a burst comp as well. A burst pick comp. He has gone for AP Gragas. Not looking to survive that long, but he's going to have a lot of health, I suppose, and the shield, so alongside of the AP. So, new age AP Gragas.
Yeah, you can see the magic resistance coming through here from Morgan. Merc Treads, the Negatron Cloak, going to be going for Force of Nature, and very difficult to kill this Jax in the side lane, but every time I had to hold my breath on that one. This Jax needs to actually start threatening real objectives, though, in order to get the worthwhile.
Look at this quick call from Bro. Just going to run at the Baron. They don't have Henna, though. They've got Karis in a really nice flank spot here, so they might just try to get on top of Zeus here. The TP comes in as Zeus tries to run with a flash now from Effort. Not enough, though. Zeus is just going to get out. Meanwhile, T1 are taking down a free Hextech That is the Hextech sole point.
Yeah, this is a bit of an overextension here for Brionne in terms of what they tried to set up here. Don't have the damage just yet without Hannah, as you mentioned, and 3v4, T1 could say no. They certainly have.
As Karis is still up there in no man's land. They're really trying to take that part of the map, but at the same time, they're just kind of losing a turret.
They really want to control T1's rotation back towards this Baron with the Akali, but it's going to take a little bit longer here. Still no inhibitors down. And Jax is just not going to side lane this game. Morgan is just...
Team fight Jax?
Yeah, I guess so.
Uh-oh. Okay, he's going to scry it. Good call from Faker. Didn't know what was on the other side of the bush.
If Morgan had put a little bit more pressure on in so many of the moments in this game, whether it was that top side that he was left open to, the bottom side has been left a few times when Zeus is on vision, maybe there's a threat for a split push win condition in this game where you can slow T1 down on a Baron. You know, try to set the Akali flank and hard engage there and stop some backs and get an inhibitor and win a team fight that way. Teleport the Jax in, but he has no TP now, and Zeus with TP advantage means that right now, playing this waiting game, the poking, denying Baron game that Brionne is playing, isn't going to work out long term. Because you're just always going to be down a man.
I wonder if part of why Zeus went for AP is because he wants wave clear against the Jax side laning. I wonder if that was part of his thought process.
I think that's definitely part of it. The other part is that Lucian, in order to do damage against this really long range, like great CC and frontline comp that T1 has with even disengage with the tidal wave, is that you have the ability to blow up the Lucian. If he steps too far forward, you can just instantly delete him yourself, and then that's the end of that. That's half the damage gone on this team comp. So I think two-way is very strong.
T1 very threatening here in the Baron River. And you see that there is a bit of vision. Bro are trying to push forward together. Effort not exactly tanking on the Sona, so he'll need help if he wants to clear vision. Goes a little bit there.
Kraken Slayer, by the way, and the Essence Reaver, we talked about the Sheen build, and now he's got the Kraken Slayer online, so a very different Lucian build. No Gale Force, no aggressive pushing to look for a blow-up. You know, especially with the game state here, I think this is very good, but they planned this from a long ways away. There's a lot more damage long-term in this fight with the CC they have set up. You know, there's 3 champions that can really lock down T1 and give Henna the opportunity to wail on him and hit those Kraken Slayer procs. So Morgan just doesn't have enough vision here, nor his jungler to actually look for any side laning. So once again, he's pushed away.
For a second, I thought they were trying to collapse like really quickly onto Morgan. Not quite the case. Faker just saying, okay, I'm going to push the bot lane. There were a couple of pings down there for him.
I mean, Brionne have to either pull the trigger here and force something to happen, force a TP out of Faker, or they will just keep following the Jax. And Brionne is just going to be like standing around Baron doing nothing, you know? You do eventually have to make a choice. You can't just say, hold on, wait for it, TP's coming up. You know, now Morgan has his teleport, but he's sitting under turret as Jax, and T1 are freely taking this whole thing out.
T1 are saying, okay, we're just going to push. If you want to try to rush Baron, you can.
And they will, but very late.
Are they just going to let this one go?
TP for Zeus, I mean, he can get in there very quickly.
They should know that this should be the call from the side of Brionne. The question is, can T1 get in position on time? As here comes everybody on both teams. The engage here on the Zeus. Again, he's not that tanky. Big boop, though, and a huge cast gets everybody away. And that opens up Faker to get in there deep, and Guma is untouched on the left side of this fight as well. They're able to just zoom through the entirety of this bro composition. Karis, the only one to survive on the left side, and that is just going to be T1 collapsing and taking the Baron.
And this is why there was so much hesitation for Brionne to try to start that Baron up. It's because you're just going to get obliterated if you actually can't do it quickly enough, and spoilers, they couldn't.
Karis, he may have overstayed his welcome, as now he's got to go into a stopwatch. Not even Azania's at this point. Faker going in, he's got Guma with him. They're just diving everything. As it does feel like T1 now with the Baron should be able to take a huge bite out of this map.
That should be able to open up some of these inhibitors pretty easily. It was a beautiful fight from T1, by the way. Looking back at this, the turn attempt here from Brionne is pretty good. Look at Karis' angle here on the backside, but Keria and Guma come through the choke point. They say there's no escape, no retreat. Guma goes behind enemy lines here, and then Faker, once the threat of Karis is unlocked, he just stopwatches. He's like, nah. I have enough of a front line here. We have enough damage. The Akali is not going to get a pentakill. Not today. Not on my watch.
Yeah. My favorite part of that was Zeus baiting them in and then booping 2 and then casking 3 and separating the Wukong away from the team. just dies immediately. And the other 2 are just no longer threats because they got cast away. So it's immediate team fight win. And even though Gragas is not that tanky, he can still survive for quite a long time. It's very difficult to burst down, even with the AP build.
Well, T1 now should be able to, as we've talked about, open this base up completely here, take out multiple inhibitors. But they could also potentially end here, as there's no flank threat. A ward here for Karis.
There is a little bit. The question is, do T1 really care about it? Karis is looking for it. There is the Zone ult. They burst down Faker. That's going to be good enough, I think, as Karis now is in the back line. They're trying to turn this one. Nope, Guma did not die. Forgot about him. He's just going to get a Quadra and will be looking for the Penta on the Zeri of all champions.
Deus knock him out.
Oh, Morgan. Morgan! You darling, you.
Giga Chad Morgan. Giga Chad Morgan.
Hands it over. And Guma will pick up the Penta. Congratulations to Guma. And big thanks to Morgan for letting it happen. T1